apt way to usher us into this next segment, which is how to turn challenges into opportunities, how to turn setbacks into comebacks. And I'm particularly excited about this segment because of the power of words to reflate an individual who is in a pit. So joining us to have this conversation this morning is Mr. Oluwatobi Olarinde, who is a human development enthusiast, motivational speaker, published author. He joins us here in our Lagos studio. Mr. Olarinde, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good to be here.
So we are to motivate Nigeria even out of where she is now.
Yes.
And up to the mountaintop. But we'll talk about, speaking life into Nigeria. Let's speak into the life of the individual in Nigeria, and it's very important because very many people are in a low place right now for obvious reasons. But for some people who are very, very low, perhaps deep down in the pit, how do they even begin to come back, to the top of the pit before they get to the mountaintop?
Okay, so for me, I feel like what people should know first is that you have to recognize that you're actually down there. Because so many people are in a particular state and they're so comfortable with it, so they don't realize it. They want to have people pity them, have people hand over meals to them and all of that. I understand the technicality of how the country is, but the truth is, there's something they say on the street: nobody's coming to save you at the end of the day. But you must first be aware that I am low, I am where I am, and if you recognize that, you now want to say, how do I get out of this place? That's where the question comes in. How? The how is, I know that this thing does not please me, or this thing is not taking me further, or this thing is not helping my mind. I would now start to change my mindset. I would now start to say, okay, what are things that I am doing right now that are keeping me in that current position that I am? If you recognize that you're the one actually debarring yourself from moving to that place, to the top, as we call it, then you are halfway through the process.
But complacency is one thing. Mental ill health is another.
Yes.
Is motivational speaking also recommended for those who are depressed, for want of better expression?
Yes. So, for example, I speak to a lot of people who subscribe to coaching, wanting to tell you their stories, wanting to get a way out of these situations they're in. We can, as motivational speakers, we can motivate you out of that current situation that you're in. But you see, in life, you can only talk people out of situations. The willingness and the preparedness for them to want to leave that situation is another thing. So when you're talking to somebody who has maybe a mental health problem, I'm very big on people having right mental health, I would say, these are the things you need to do. These are the things you need to do. If you need to talk to me about this, about situation, about your day-to-day life, talk to me. But if I see that it is now beyond motivational speaking, there are people who are in charge of these things. There are practitioners who are therapists that can now tell you all the things you can do beyond motivation.
So let's see how you can help the average Nigerian.
Okay.
The average Nigerian deals with the same thing.
Yes.
High cost of living, inflation numbers.
Yes.
Life is so difficult. A lot of people literally struggling. In fact, we're doing some analytics. Before now, if you earn 200,000, it sounded like you're coasting towards the middle class. But now 500,000, you're even on the lower web, if not literally poor. And so people are dealing with all of these challenges. Some and combat with other domestic challenges. So if you were to speak to an average Nigerian young person who is looking at the country and is just despondent, what will you be saying to them?
So I would say that don't give up yet. It's not the right time to give up. It's now time for you to look inwards, look within yourself. What is that thing that makes you want to stand up from your bed every morning? What is your vision? What is your passion? What is that thing that is making you say, I know that I want to be successful. if you look beyond all of the problems and start looking inwards and seeing things that can actually give you solution. I mean, all of us seated here, not like you said, 200,000 right now is, I mean, how much is the bag of rice? But if that is my motivating factor, then there might be a problem. So I have to look for ways to create maybe business opportunities. Even if the business, people say businesses are not thriving and all that, but people still make it right in this country. People still gather skills for the future. It's not like you want to get it right now and right there. You just have to keep building that self-confidence, that power that comes from within, not taking into consideration that, oh, this person is going to help me out of this situation. Yes, if you need to speak to people who can help you out of situations, please do. But beyond that, believe in yourself. That self-belief is, for me, the motivating factor that will help you faster than even speaking to other people. Because once you want to speak to somebody, you want to tell them about things that you need. How do you articulate your points, telling them what you want them to do for you? Some people are just down there, like I said, the pity card and all that. But the truth is, everybody you want to talk to up there is going through something. The employers of labor, the cost of fueling and all of that is eating up everybody. But what keeps those people at the top going? They also don't want to come down. So you should also consider yourself moving upward, but building that self-power to, increase your life.
It's interesting, really, because we've come quite a long way. Yes. There was a time that motivation was a big thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking 10, 15 years ago. If there was any event, you had motivational speakers, the halls would be packed. And then after some time, a lot of people started losing interest. From the losing interest, started getting angry at motivational speakers, and that's how we have these aspire to be boy, and people just make fun of it. For some of them, they attended these events, they listened to motivational speakers so much, and they thought that things were going to change for them. And they look at their lives down the line and they say, well, things have not gotten better. So they blame the motivational speakers or the life coaches and say, all the things you taught me clearly aren't working in real life. Fela Durute, for example, has come under a lot of attack. If I had to come out recently and say, I'm no more working in government, I didn't even get money in government. Prior to that, all the things I've taught, I've really worked for people who have used it. So my question is, what is usually the challenge that people who get these life skills, who listen to motivational speakers, are not able to translate that into results in real life? What is usually missing?
Okay. So I think that what is missing for me is, if you attend a conference that they're motivating you, first, what's your motive? People go to say, the humans generally, and there's something I joke with outside, I say they want Jehovah sharp. They want things to move fast. If I talk to you now, in 2 weeks, you should make 1 billion. But they forget that there is actually a process. So the missing link is them understanding that it takes step by step to build a house. You can't roof the house before you lay the foundation. So if you are ready and willing to follow the process, which most Nigerians and most people all over the world don't want to, then you get there. Another thing that discourages people from motivational speakers is that a lot of us are out there, and some people are out there motivating people, but for selfish reasons.
All right.
They want to make all of the money. That's why you see maybe a speaking conference and they tell you to come and to attend, maybe you pay 300,000. The current reality, how do you pay that? So people look at it. People, for example, I have something called Protege, mentor-mentee kind of program. I've done it in the past, where I talk to people from different fields. I do it for free. I bring my guys and say, okay, see, I want this person to be under you, so you can teach this person this thing. So if we start looking for, a lot of people, even Fela Durute has done so many free things. But free things sometimes will not pay your bills, I know. But if you can see how to uplift people, those people in turn, in the nearest future, might not be directly them, they would also pay you back. So if we understand this in the industry of motivational speaking, that it's not all about master class, come and pay 50 million and all of that, then people will not be discouraged. Because if I pay you 50 million naira now, I want to see the results very fast.
I want to get 200 million.
Yeah. So I think that's what the problem is.
You know, and so for Nigerians who are saying, oh, motivational speakers tell us there's always opportunities, you know, for a comeback, setbacks are for comebacks and all of that. And they're saying, where is that opportunity? You know, for instance, a barber, you know, who has a shop and has a small generator, petrol is 1,040 naira per liter.
Yes. You
know, that's just in the southwest. It could be higher in the north. For the, a hairstylist who is saying there are no customers because of the same reason. They have to pay so many bills. You know, just to mention a few, manufacturers are complaining high cost of diesel. Where are the opportunities? Are those opportunities there that they cannot see them? So what would you say to, Nigerians on the low rung of the ladder?
So the opportunities are there. It's just for you to open up your mind. By opening up your mind, I said earlier that you need to speak to somebody. For example, if I go to a barber or a barber shop, I tell him, oh, I like what you're doing. I say, there's no funding and all of that. I say, okay, can I start making videos of you barbing people and post on maybe my WhatsApp status so that people can actually approach you? We have barbers who do not now sit in the shop anymore. They found that sitting in the shop is fine, but home service pays better. So looking for clients is one major thing that people who are doing any type of business should, focus on, to see that, okay, I'm here right now, I can't afford to turn on my gen for this certain number of hours. How can you enter into partnership? Who are these people who need your service? Because people who need your service, you have to go to them. Most times we sit in the comfort of our offices and all and believe that markets will come. But you see, that's why those who are marketing professionals know that there's power in marketing. So even in your local street and all of that, people should actually know that, okay, this guy is good. And the power of recommendation, people talking about your business, goes a long way. But if you sit there and you're not talking to anybody, you don't have a good rapport with people on the street and all of that, it brings you to just that state.
Well, I think that's just about the best way to, to look at life in general as an individual. But one more question before I just let you go. Kayode had asked it.
Okay.
How enterprising is it what you do? Because we brought you here, of course, it's a business. How enterprising is it?
Okay, so it's when you get clients, we go to clients, we also do adverts to say, okay, you can speak to me if you have this issue, if you have that issue, and for a fee, I could listen to you and I could profile solution to whatever challenge you're going through. So for those who take it seriously as a business and try to market, they get clients. So marketing this thing.
So you guys market it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's like the new oil. You have to market your product.
Okay.
Speaking of opportunities abound also in the motivational speaking space.
True.
So Nigerians can expand their horizon. True. Well, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show. We've been talking with Mr. Oluwatobi Olarinde, a human development enthusiast, motivational speaker, and published author. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.